Hello, this is Mehran, and today I'm going to go over the square knot computer problem for AD106. I'm going to start with showing you an example for this project. So this project principle wants us to create a composition of pipes that uses rhythm and repetition to create a knot in space. It should be asymmetric, balanced, and have unity. And also all pipes corners should be 90 degrees. After you create your composition, you're gonna make it out of copper pipes in the studio. This is an example from a past student of this course. Okay, so how can we create this in Rhino 3D software? I'm going ahead and create a new drawing. I use units to make sure that my model unit is in inches and decimal. In order to draw perpendicular lines, I need to change some setting. First, I turn grid snap. The grid snap makes sure your lines start exactly on the grid. If you're working on PC, you may find this toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And then I turn on the O snap, select end, unselect all others that are selected. We just need to have end selected. And then I make sure that the smart track is off because smart track tries to guess what you want to snap to. And for this project, we don't need that. And then turn on the ortho. This command only lets you rotate to 90 degrees angles, which is necessary for this project. Okay. In order to create a knot in space, I'm using polyline command and start from here. The project principle says that I may use 9 to 14 line segments, and lines may be any length at this time. But at the end, your polyline should be 40 inches. I'll let you know how you can make it 40 inches, but for now, you don't need to be worried about the line's length. And then no new line segments can touch or bisect another line segment. So we need to make sure about that. And all polyline must be continuous knots with a single continuous line, no endpoint. So I must keep drawing until join back to the start point. Okay, let's get started then. For my first line, I have already selected my first point, my second point, I start somewhere here. Then for next line, I want to go up, and I use different viewports to make sure that I'm on the right path. And then I want to come this way. Yeah, I want to go back. This way. I'm going down a little bit. Go back this way. Maybe here. Maybe here. Here, I want to go up now. And I need to make sure that my lines are between 9 to 40. So I just Let's try to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 4 more left. So I go maybe this way. And then I come this way, come down. And close my composition. So I have a composition of polylines here. The number of lines are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I use the maximum length, maximum number of the lines that I was supposed to use. So now I can modify it. If I'm happy with the composition that I made, as far as I can see here, or not, I can modify it simply by selecting the segments of the polyline and move them wherever that I want. So I think that I want to just move them this way a little bit. And then these two should be, I think, something like this. Let's see from the different views. I want this square come down a little bit. And yeah, maybe these lines a little bit too. Now, I want to measure my polyline and make it, scale it down to 40 inches. To do that, I go to Analyze and Length, and select my polyline, and to see what is the length, it says that the length is 152. I write it down, 152 inches, and then I use scale command, select my polyline. I will select the base point for that. And for the scale factor, I just say 40 divided by 152, which was my polyline's length. And it should make it 40 inches. So let's see. I'm going to check again, use Analyze, Length, and select my polyline, and you can see the length is 40 inches. So again, I can check my composition and see if I like it, or I want to make other changes or not. So for now, I'm happy with that, I think. But if you're not happy with the composition, as I said, you can use these segments to modify it, or even you can use Explode command, make your polyline explode. Now they are like separated lines. You can remove lines or add some lines if you to make your composition better. And after you do that, you use join command to join them back together as a polyline. Okay. So I go, I undo the explode and everything. I'm not sure that if I undo the scale, so I measure the length again. Yeah, I have done the I have undo the scale again. So I do scale again. Again, I say scale, select my object, select the base point. And as for scale factor, I say 40 divided by 152, which was my polyline's length. Okay, and I check it again to make sure that I did it correct. Yeah, the length is 40 inches now, and I am happy with the composition that I made. Now I want to give the line a thickness. To do that, I use curve, fillet curves to fillet each corner with a radius of 0.4. So I select this and make sure the radius is 0.4, and I select the other line. So I make a fillet at this corner, and I can keep continuing to do the same for every corner, or I can say curve fillet corners, except fillet curves, I can say fillet corners, and select my object, make sure the radius is 0.4, and then hit enter. Now I have all my corners fillet. So you can see that in different viewport, it is not showing that it is fillet, because you see different thing in the orthographic views, but in your perspective view you can check and you can see that every corner is fillet. Now I'm going to use solid pipe to give the thickness to my line. I select my polyline. The thickness should be 0.625. So now I can have my composition done. As you can see, I created a okay, now you can see that we have something odd here. It happens for some reason. I don't know why, but to make it right, I just say exploit. I delete this one. And I draw a line. I say near line. And I pipe it. To make everything right. Now I can check to make sure there is no touch or bisect between the pipes that I have created. So now I want to use rotate command to rotate the knot to balance on 3 elbows. And I'm going to use the orthographic view to rotate the design. And it may take multiple rotation to balance the design. So let's get started from this view, I think. So I say rotate. I want to rotate it from here to this way. And I want to make sure that I can rotate it on 3 elbows. I think almost, okay, maybe I need to rotate it a little bit further. Well, all right, this is a composition that I made. And you need to repeat steps about all the steps that we did to create 3 refined knots in space. And again, you need to repeat steps about the step that we did with the change that you can also use 1 or more diagonal lines as long as all pipes corners remain 90 degrees. So let's hide this. And start a new one. Okay, again, I use polyline. This time I want to have one of my lines to be diagonal. Okay, again, I start polyline to make my composition. Let's do something like that this time. And I go this way, this way. Come a little bit down. Oops. I want to come a little bit down. Go this way. Maybe that. This time I go up. This way. That way I go down a little bit. That way, and see what do we have here. And now I can, if I end my composition, I have a diagonal line here, as you can see here, which remains 90 degrees. So I close my polyline, and then, yeah, let's say we are happy with this. Just a little bit, I want to move these segments a little bit this way, and make it a little bit shorter. Okay, let's see. Let's measure the length in analyze length. It is 117.06. So I need to scale it down. For my scale factor, I say 40 divided by 117.06. And let's check it again. And it is, the length of my polyline is 40 inches. So now again, I'm going to use curve, fillet corners, with a radius of 0.4. I have all my corners fillet, and then I pipe it. I can just type pipe instead of going to solid and pipe. Select my object, give the thickness of 0.625, and this is the composition that I made. Let's see, what do we have here? So if I'm happy with this composition that I made, again, I use rotate to rotate the knot to balance on 3 elbows. So you are going to create 3 composition using 1 or more diagonal line, and 3 composition all the lines straight, and then place all 6 knots in a row on a flat plane in order to in order of preference, best to worst composition. Render 2 favorite views and turn them in with your Rhino file. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.